when CNN's Arwa Damon, Neil Hallsworth and Tim Crockett ventured into the streets of Homs.
It's just non-stop gunfire.
They were met by the sounds of war and scenes of desolation. It's not deserted. There's thousands of people there.
There are, and a lot of them are staying indoors. The mosques were putting out messages, actually, when the bombardment started, telling people to not live on the upper floors of their buildings, to try to stay away from windows, to try to find protected rooms inside their homes. A lot of families that also moved into bunkers. These aren't real bunkers. They're actually just the basements that are only located in a few of the buildings and homes around here, so all the families that haven't been able to escape stay in them. So this is Muhammad, who's been telling us that there were around 250 people that were staying in this one room. Half of them have actually fled in the last 24 hours because they heard that this particular location was going to get targeted, and those that have stayed are literally the ones that have absolutely nowhere at all to go. They huddle in near darkness.
And it's cold because it's cold this time of year, and most of the houses that we went through were either heated by an oil-fired fire stove in the middle of the room or wood-fired. And obviously that's one of the resources that's been cut off by the government. They haven't got heating oil being supplied into that neighborhood or into that part of the city.
They're constantly at the tip of this abyss of fear. That fear that you go through brief periods of time. They've been living this for months. This woman's son has been detained since the end of August. Another woman's son has been detained, this one right here, for a month and a half. In these makeshift bunkers we were in, almost every single woman that came up to talk to us, and they would pull you in every single direction because all of them had something they wanted to share.
Arwa and her team visited another bunker inside a wood-cutting factory, another temporary refuge from the shelling. But in Homs, there was no place to hide from sadness and suffering.
Baby Fatima is cradled in her grandmother's arms, the image of innocence, though the world she was just brought into is anything but. In this shelter, we basically met 3 generations of one family. The baby who had just been born, her name was Fatima. She was just 24 hours old when we met her. Her mother, who was in her late teens, it was her second child, and she had to give birth in the bunker with no painkillers, no nothing. She says her husband left a month ago to get supplies and hasn't been able to get back. He doesn't know he's a father. Baby Fatima has 2 great uncles she will never meet, both detained and returned as mutilated corpses. It was a sight you don't want to see. Fatima's grandmother's voice trembles as she describes how one of her brother's neck was broken, his skin peeled off. We've just been given a photograph of her second brother who was detained and the state that she received his corpse in. And it's absolutely horrific.
شو اسال الاخر ما بنعرف بدنا الاخر نحن بدنا النهايه يعني ضلوا عندنا بس يعني احنا بدكم انتم الله بيحمينا بحسنتكم ما بعرف شو بيصير فينا عنا فيكم طلعنا شو بنضل بحر ما في حدا خوف والله خايفه.
They'd all lost husbands, brothers, who knows. At one point it was like being in a bunker full of widows and orphans. Safa's brother and husband were killed when a round struck their home 10 days ago, but she can hardly pause to grieve. And I remember looking at this woman and wondering how it is that she's able to even form a cohesive sentence. How is she even able to speak logically? How is she not completely beside herself with grief and ripping her hair out? Well, it's because she has to keep it together because she has kids and they're living in a bunker. She has no choice.
just been given this book that has a list of all of the names of everyone here. There's 315 of them marked next to each one, the age, whether or not they need basics like diapers, baby's milk, which is in short supply, of course. And this here is a list of the medicines that they need. And a lot of it is very basic, painkillers and things to deal with cold, flu, especially for the children.
You feel helpless? You feel like you want to do something? I mean...
Yeah, I felt that I wanted to go back in there with a team of medical specialists with everything that we could carry to try and help support them.
This woman is in complete tears. She doesn't want us to use her name. She doesn't want to show her face.
Another woman was holding her baby, who's just crying. She's saying, he has a fever, he's sick, feel his face, there's no medicine for him. There's nothing that one can do to ease their pain. There's no way to fix their situation. And there's no way to answer their questions. There's no way to answer their questions of why is this happening to us? Why isn't the world helping us? How many more of us have to die? Why is our life worth nothing?
What did my child do?
Exactly. What's the mother supposed to tell her child about why his father died?
I think it affects you more because you obviously speak Arabic. It was like, I don't think the emotions were pushed onto us as much as they were on Arwa.
Emotion's an important part of storytelling. You're looking at our team and looking at Arwa, who's a great professional. You could see that this was really impacting her. But there's no doubt in my mind that, she was being shaken by what she had seen there.
If we cannot have a certain level of compassion that is reasonably translated into our reporting, how can we expect people thousands of miles, kilometers away, sitting in their living room, to even begin to relate to what it is they're seeing on their TV screen? You're always wondering if you've done someone's pain enough justice, if you've done, what they've been through enough justice.